Finance, was on the wrong one, sorry, Committee this evening of February 26, 2018. Could I have a roll call, please?
Chairperson Palafis.
Present.
Vice Chairperson Newell.
Present.
Trustee Gata.
Present.
Trustee Mills.
Present.
Trustee Stanton.
Present.
Trustee Arnett.
Present.
Mayor McLeod.
And we have a quorum, thank you. Could I have a motion and a second for the approval of the minutes for January 22nd, 2018?
So moved. Second.
A motion and a second. Any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Items under new business, we have 6. The first is request approval of a 5-year extension to the Sears Center Arena Management Agreement with Global Spectrum LP, DBA Spectra Venue Management of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions, comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. Item number 2 is request approval of a business solicitation plan for the 4th of July Commission for the 2018 Northwest 4th Fest.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions, comments? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. Item number 3 is a request authorization to waive all inspection fees and select license fees for the 2018 Northwest 4th Fest.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions or comments? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. Item number 4 is request acceptance of the Finance Department monthly report.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Item number 5 is a request acceptance of the Information Systems Department monthly report.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Item number 6 is a request acceptance of the Sears Center monthly report.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions, comments? Ben, you were sick last time, so that was right after your big weekend of the concert and everything.
I had the
Bull
flu.
riding, and so
Get your flu shots. That's only too No, we had a really good January. It might have been the best January we've ever had, actually. So we had Chris Young, bunch of well-attended basketball games, monster truck, motocross, and then February, obviously, Super Bowl weekend, we always do bull riding, which is always a good success. We had our first sellout of the Windy City Bulls last week. It was the Wednesday education game. So if you had the time to stop by, you would have lost most of your hearing through all the shrieking, but it was happy shrieking. So that was really exciting. I took some great video, which I will be unveiling at the mayor's breakfast tomorrow, along with some fun facts. What's that? Wednesday, I'm sorry. What day is today? Is it Monday today?
Wednesday morning.
the other tomorrow.
I'm sorry.
Of tomorrow. Yeah.
Where's my omelet?
On Wednesday, we have a fun video from it. So it was super exciting. The team was very excited because they've been working on that date for a while. And it was great to see 5,000 children in the building all at one time. Even better to see them leave. We have USA Gymnastics this weekend, Friday and Saturday. USA Gymnastics was nice enough to invite the entire village staff to join them on one of the sessions of their choosing. So we'll be sending out an email. But it's a Friday, Friday and 2 sessions on Saturday. So that's very exciting. And we have a busy week. We have rehearsals with a very secret pop star in the building right now, which loads out tomorrow. We immediately load in gymnastics along with the mayor's breakfast. So we have pop stars and mayor stars and gymnastic stars and everything in between. So we are running 24 hours a day, hence me not knowing which day it is right now. So my apologies. But anyway.
Star coming to the
Sears Center?
I don't think so. She has not been invited. That's all hint I'll give you, but I will extend an invitation.
Has she been invited to the Sears Center to perform?
She has, and we locked the door and said you can't leave until you. No, she has been. No, she is currently Instagramming pictures. So if you want to go to every pop store in the country, you might be able to see who it is. But anyway, it's good business, the rehearsals, and it's good for our relationships with the various promoters and agents. And then, I don't know, busy week. It's a lot of fun, so we're enjoying it.
Probably Madonna, Gary.
It's Madonna, and she is coming to the mayor's breakfast. She will be performing.
You might want to get her there. He has to vote for your extension one more time.
It's Billy Idol and Madonna. Co-headlining.
There you go.
It's hard to get them in the room together. That's everything.
Awesome. Any other questions, comments, color commentary? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. President's report.
Yeah, last Thursday, the 22nd, I chaired the Transportation Committee meeting of the Northwest Municipal Conference. I was a judge at the Heart Healthy Cook-Off that the Health and Human Services Department put on. Jen was the winner. Congratulations, Jen.
Way to go.
And on Saturday, I attended the Barrington Square Animal Hospital ribbon cutting of the newly expanded Barrington Square Animal Hospital. It's about 6 times bigger than it was.
Right.
It's a beautiful addition. This evening, we had the Hoffman States Foundation meeting, and as was mentioned, the mayor's breakfast State of the Village will be taking place this Wednesday at the Sears Center. That's it.
Thank you, sir. Nothing in other. No items in review. I will entertain a motion and a second to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. We're adjourned. Thank you.
Exactly.
Okay, I would like to call the Public Work and Utility Committee to order for this February 26, 2018. May I have a roll call, please?
Chairperson Newell,
Present.
Vice Chairperson Gata,
Present.
Trustee Palafis,
Present.
Trustee Mills,
Present.
Trustee Stanton,
Present.
Trustee Arnett,
Present.
Mayor McLeod.
Present.
Okay, everybody accounted for in a quorum. Next item would be the approval of minutes from January 22nd, 2018.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any corrections, additions? Seeing none. All in favor?
Aye.
No nays. Motion passed. Under new business, we have 12 items. Okay. Moving on. Item number 1, request approval for the Historical Sites Commission to proceed with 2018 budgeted activities and events in an amount not to exceed $1,300.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Nothing to add, no questions, no?
I have a question. Why are we
Trustee
playing a
Stanton.
shell game with the money? Why don't we just, they're taking, some money from one place and putting it in towards their bus tour. Why don't they just appropriate it all for the bus tour?
It doesn't work the way it's stated here. They have a line item in the actual budget for the Historical Sites Commission, and it all comes out of that line item. What they're going off is the justification pages that were given to finance and given to the board as part of the budget. And this is really just transparency, so you know how they're doing it. So it's not really an accounting change of any kind.
Gives them a better idea of where they're spending their money, too.
Right, right. So for next year, if they want to do it the same way, they would change it, and they're actual just on the event-by-event itemization that they present to us.
Okay.
Okay, seeing no other questions, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
No nays, motion passed. Item number 2, request authorization to extend 2016 contract for 2018 season landscape maintenance services for C&D locations, village-maintained detention areas, and park-type properties and various cul-de-sac islands to complete landscape, which is out of Barrington, Illinois, in an amount not to exceed $55,250.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Seeing no questions, nothing to add, right? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
No nays, motion passed. Item number 3, request authorization to extend 2017 contracts for 2018 season Parkway Tree Planting Program, low bids to A, the Acres Group out of Wakanda, Illinois, and B, to St. Aubin Nursery out of Kirkland, Illinois, in a total amount not to exceed $94,750.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. No questions, nothing to add? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
No nays, motion passed. Item number 4, request authorization to extend 2016 contract for 2018 season water, sewer, and forestry landscape restoration to Milieu Design out of Wheeling, Illinois, at a unit price of $6.15 per square yard for seeding and $10.15 per square yard for sodding, in an amount not to exceed $35,000.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. No questions, all in favor?
Aye.
No nays, motion passed. Item number 5, request authorization of change order number 3 to the contract with Visu Sewer of Illinois LLC, which is VSI, out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, in an amount not to exceed $29,407.17.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Question, trustee Stanton?
I just question, were they ever in Illinois, or are they just using the Illinois name?
As far as where the company's located,
Right.
Because it's Visu Sewer of Illinois.
yeah, I'd have to look. I
Out of
don't know for
Pewaukee,
sure.
Wisconsin.
Well, they may have other offices in Illinois. I'd have to find out.
Just curious.
Trustee Palafis?
Sometimes companies create an LLC to get on a state contract. I only know that because our company does it, so that might be it.
Okay.
Okay, no other questions. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
No nays, motion passed. Item number 6, request authorization to extend 2017 contract for 2018 street sweeping inclusive of all associated costs, including removal and hauling of debris to Lakeshore Recycling Systems, formerly known as K. Hoving Clean Sweep, out of West Chicago, Illinois, in an amount not to exceed $108,150.
So moved.
Second.
Trustee Palafis?
Your high bidder was like more than double. Any reason why?
It could be location, could be number of trucks.
It could be existing contracts, and they don't need the work as bad.
Oh, okay.
And Hoving, now that it's been absorbed into Lakeshore, we're very curious to see what happens when we have to rebid this contract again as far as what the prices go. So,
Gotcha.
you know, when Hoving was the owner, they were significantly lower than the other bidders for, I think we've had a relationship with Hoving for a decade. So we'll be curious to see what happens. Might be time to look at other options potentially if the prices get too high.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Seeing no other questions, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
No nays, motion passed. Item number 7, request authorization to waive bidding and purchase 1 replacement heavy-duty dump truck chassis through a State of Illinois joint purchase contract. Pricing from Rush Truck Center of Illinois, INC, Chicago, Illinois, which is the low state contract bid in an amount not to exceed $85,911.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Seeing no questions, I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
No nays, motion passed. Item number 8, request authorization to waive bidding and purchase 1 new Henderson dump body, underbody plow spreader box, pre-wet system controls and fabrication installation using NJPA contract discount from Henderson Truck Equipment, Illinois, out of Huntley, Illinois, in an amount not to exceed $76,250.
So moved.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No nays, motion passed. Item number 9, request authorization to waive bidding and purchase 1 new front snowplow for use on the 2018 budgeted truck using the NJPA contract discount from Linco Equipment Sales out of Maryville, Indiana, in an amount not to exceed $14,246.50.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. All in, trustee Gata?
Oh, thanks. Joe, this is a new plow for this truck, correct?
correct.
So the old plow,
What we're doing when we're purchasing new vehicles, we went through a process about 4 or 5 years ago where we went around, we looked at all the plows, all the trucks from surrounding communities. We formed a committee with the drivers, with the supervisors, and we picked a standard truck plow and setup for the trucks. So now every time we get a new truck in, we're setting that truck up for this particular plow. The plows that we're currently using on some of the older trucks are going away. The guys don't like them. They're not as they can't see over them as well. There was a number of reasons we went with this plow. So we're getting new plows put on the trucks when we get them. At some point, though, all the trucks are going to have new plows, and then hopefully we won't have to buy new plows every time we get a new truck.
what do we do with the old ones? Do we auction
They're
them?
sold with the truck.
Oh, they're sold with the truck.
With the old truck, they're sold, and it obviously increases the resale value of the vehicle when you sell them like that, because the contractor would use it for snow plowing then.
Very good. That's all, thank you.
Trustee Palafis?
The old plows, Trustee Gata, are probably susceptible to hit mailboxes. Just saying.
No, it didn't happen that way.
I know, just joking. Having a little fun.
Yes. But they took care of it. That's
right.
what's important.
That's right.
Come on, but they plow nice and they take care of the streets, so leave them alone. Be nice. Okay, no more questions. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
No nays, motion passed. Item number 10, request authorization to waive bidding and purchase replacement Transportation and Engineering Division Vehicle Unit E90 through the Northwest Municipal Conference Suburban Purchasing Cooperative from Curry Motors, Frankfort, Illinois, in an amount not to exceed $28,533.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. No questions. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
No nays, motion passed. Item number 11, request acceptance of the Department of Public Works monthly report.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have anything to add, Mr. Neville? Nothing? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
No nays, motion passed. Item number 12, request acceptance of the Department of Development Services monthly engineering report of the Transportation and Engineering Division.
So moved.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Anything to add?
Yes, I do.
You do? Okay,
Yes.
go for it.
So MWRD periodically has called for funding assistance on projects. Recently, they had a call for what they call the Phase 2 Stormwater Management Program, which is for localized drainage issues. We took a look at the current projects that we have that were identified in the storm sewer assessment and that are on the neighborhood drainage project list, and we only had one location that would qualify based on the what the program was looking for. That was at the intersection of Winston Drive and Firestone Drive. So we did submit an application for that project, and that would be for a 2019 construction. It will be several months till we hear anything
Okay.
about that.
Great.
I don't know who was first. Okay, Trustee Stanton?
Is Denny's open now out at 59? They are.
Yes, it is.
I've eaten there.
Okay.
It's been open,
And slam.
it's been open for some time. About maybe
Good.
3 weeks, I'm going to guess.
Yamaco Station still isn't open, is it?
No.
We have to talk to Mr. Hankey about that.
Trustee Palafis?
There's two places where Winston and Firestone meet, North Firestone and West Firestone. Is it both, or
This
is
would be
it?
the south intersection, south. And-
Okay, the Algonquin end.
Yes.
So Alan, how much money does MWRD and have? You were telling me that there is going to be, this is pretty much of a long shot, but we don't mind going for long shots, given the fact, one, that we were funded earlier on the Jones Highland project, but that two is that you were telling me that how much money there was and what they expect in terms of projects.
Yeah, their money that they budget for these type of projects goes through a wide range of different grant programs that they do. So this particular program is only a small piece of that, and depending on what how much they use for the other programs that they have, there may or may not be that much available.
And this one's really directed at projects where there's people having structural damage to their structures. And our project, since we really don't have any of those left anymore, ours is really more, there's a chance of structural damage. It's a side yard issue and with an potential accessory building. So we're going to go for it, and Alan submitted it like he said, but we're not as hopeful on this one as we might be on others.
Trustee Mills?
What type of percentage would they even cover on it? Is there a
Yeah.
percentage break we'd have to match?
That's negotiable. If you receive the grant, you'd go through an intergovernmental agreement with them. They're really looking for you to put forward what you can for the project.
There's nothing set in the report right now, of how much we'd have to come up with.
It's not set in the report. Part of the application did ask what you have available,
Okay.
and we did use our budget number for drainage projects in 2019 for that number.
Okay. Everything, it's always worth a try. Can't hurt.
All right, seeing no other questions, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
No nays, motion passed. President's report?
Nothing
Anything
else,
to-
Madam Chair?
Thank you. Nothing under other or items in review. Can I have a motion to adjourn, please?
So moved.
Second?
We have a motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
No nays. Motion passed. We're adjourned.
I'd like to call Public Health and Safety Committee to order for February 26, 2018. May I have a roll call, please?
Chairman Gata.
Present.
Vice Chairman Palafis.
Present.
Trustee Newell.
Present.
Trustee Mills.
Present.
Trustee Stanton.
Still here?
Trustee Harnett.
Present.
Mayor McLeod.
Thank you, and we have a quorum. Number 2, approval of the minutes of January 22nd, 2018.
So moved.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any corrections, deletions, additions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Under new business, we have 7 items. Item number 1, request authorization to award a 2-year contract for the village nuisance wildlife control to Animal Trackers, Hoffman Estates, Illinois, sole bidder.
So moved.
Second?
Second, and any question? Yes, trustee Falafel.
Are coyotes not considered a nuisance animal?
They can be. They're handled differently than other animals, and we typically only are involved if they show aggression. But we get numerous phone calls every year. Kevin O'Keefe handles a lot of them. Dan handles some of them as well. But we look for whether or not the animal is threatening in either way. And that's not only to people, it's to pets. And then we'll have this service go out and look. You have to be licensed to take a coyote, and that's exactly what they do. They're not trapped, they're not relocated, they're taken.
Okay.
So,
Trustee Mills?
Is Animal Trackers our current one, or?
no.
I didn't think so. ABC was, wasn't it?
Correct.
And only Animal Trackers bid on it this time.
Correct.
Interesting.
Yes, then Mr. Norris, on this one, now, if a resident calls into the village, we would suggest our Animal Trackers, correct?
What we advise them is that wildlife animal are the homeowner's responsibility, that they can use any wildlife control service that's licensed by the state of Illinois. There's a full list of them online and in the yellow pages, if they still use yellow pages. However, the village has gone out to bid, and we've awarded a bid to a company that's guaranteed prices. If they would like to use that service, here's the information for that service.
Okay, so at least that's what we give the answer to, right?
That's right.
Any other questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Number 2, request approval of the ordinance amending Section 6-2-1-HE-11-1301-A, additional to parking streets and areas, Hoffman Estates Police Department. I have a motion
So moved.
and a second.
Second?
Chief, what would you like to add to that?
This is just changing the address to the new police department, 411 West Higgins.
Okay, any questions up here? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Number 3, request approval of the ordinance declaring 17 pieces of AMCOS rescue equipment and 104 pieces of structural firefighting gear as surplus and authorize the sale of this equipment.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Chief, what would you like to enlighten us on?
This equipment is equipment that was taken out of service. The structural gear is gear that's replaced on an annual basis, so this is a collection of gear that's no longer serviceable. We have departments throughout the state that are in need, and we're basically looking to those departments to see who is interested in it.
When you say equipment, I have no idea what you're referring
Their
to.
turnout gear, their firefighting gear. So their gear itself, the 104 pieces, that's their actual firefighting gear.
This-
Coats and pants and that type of thing.
Coats, pants, boots.
And that's what we use for the Fire Academy personnel to use that? Oh, very good. Anything else you want to add?
The other 17 pieces is rescue equipment that's no longer in service. With the 2 heavy rescue squads going out of service, that equipment's no longer in use.
Because it's out of date, there's,
Just the equipment was replaced with because of space needs and weight, it was replaced with the electric powered equipment.
Trustee Gato, remember
about 3
when we
months.
took the squads out of service?
Yes.
We went to the smaller vehicles, and because of that, there's less cabinet space. So we moved from the larger hydraulic equipment to electric-powered equipment, and this is the old hydraulic equipment.
Which was very heavy, too.
Right, it is. And the good news is that Chief Fortunato has already had downstate, outstate departments express interest in actually buying all of this. There's been years where we've stored this type of stuff for years, literally stored it for years until somebody expressed a need. This will most likely be sold as soon as the board actually declares it surplus. We will turn around and sell it.
Yeah, very good. Any questions from the board? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Number 4, request acceptance of the Police Department monthly report.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Chief, what would you like?
Nothing to add, sir.
Nothing to add? Nothing from the board? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Number 5, request acceptance of the Health and Human Services monthly report. I need a motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. Dr. Savija? Nothing? Not to even add some of the programs that have been successful? I guess not. Anything from the board? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Number 6, request acceptance of the Emergency Management Coordinator monthly report.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Request acceptance of the Fire Department monthly report.
So moved.
A
Second.
motion and a second. Chief, anything else to add?
Nothing to add.
Thank you. Any questions from the board? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. President's report?
Nothing else, Mr. Chairman.
And we have nothing in other items in review, looking for an adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. We are adjourned. Thank you.
I'd like to call to order the Special Transportation and Road Improvement Committee for February 26th, 2018. Would the Secretary please call the roll?
Chairman Mills.
Present.
Vice Chairman Stanton.
Present.
Trustee Arnett. Present. Trustee Newell.
Present.
Trustee Palafis.
Present.
Trustee Gata.
Present.
Mayor McLeod.
Present.
We have one item on the agenda this evening, and that is under new business, discussion of options for Invest in Cook grant program. And Mr. Henke, you got a short presentation for us?
I do, thank you. We have a summary of some information we'd like to share with you this evening, should the board decide to pursue an application for the current open call for projects in the Cook County Invest in Cook program. This is the second year of what they hope to make as an annual program. It's approximately $8.5 million available countywide. Just as a reference, last year there were over 100 applications submitted for this program, roughly $40 million plus in requests, and 30 of those were chosen. And one of the important things I think is across these 5 goals that are listed here, encouraging alternative modes of transit, investing in freight movement, looking at investments in disadvantaged areas, primarily South Side and African American communities, maintaining what we have infrastructure-wise in good repair, and increasing investments in transportation. The most commonly selected projects last year were from either the maintaining what you have, so a lot of road maintenance projects, and some coupled with either bicycle or pedestrian projects. So what the county hopes to do is spread the variety of their projects out to cover as many of these different areas as they can, and also distribute the projects geographically across the entire county. Each community is only eligible to submit one application. It has to be fairly concise in that you can't submit a request to do all phases of engineering and construction over a 5-year period. It has to be one of those phases. And the idea with Invest in Cook, one of their underlying goals is to provide a means for communities to fill gaps in funding. So in this case, what we're looking at is trying to get funds for the initial phase, preliminary engineering, doing the project according to all state and federal requirements so that it becomes positioned to apply for other federal transportation sources. in the future. So that's a way to address this last goal of increasing investments, is to leverage other funds through a relatively small investment in Phase 1 engineering. We identified 5 projects as potential ones. I'd like to just walk through them quickly and highlight some of the reasons behind why we thought these would be good candidates. The first one is a combined project of adding bicycle facilities on Beverly Road as well as resurfacing Beverly. If the board decides to proceed with an application, this would be our top recommendation. It addresses one of the primary goals that we heard from the development of the bike plan, and that's it's tough to get across the tollway safely. Over the past several years, Bartlett's been improved to allow a future bike path to be built. Barrington Road, of course, has path across it now. Schaumburg has the crossing of Roselle, which also serves the eastern part of the village. So Beverly really is the last of the tollway crossings that we would look at. We're also obviously continue to work with the Canadian National on the project to go underneath the tollway, but that's still ongoing. So we coupled this with a project proposal component that would resurface Beverly Road. We have Beverly as an eligible federal aid route, but it hasn't risen to the level of receiving funding yet through the Northwest Municipal Conference program. So the concept here would be to do the preliminary phase of engineering to add bicycle facilities, off-street path on the west side of Beverly Road that would utilize a portion of the western shoulder, and then again to resurface within the limits from Prairie Stone Parkway on the north to Beacon Point on the south, omitting the bridge.
Mike?
Yes.
I see what you said as far as resurfacing for Beverly, but are they talking about widening it also from where the tollway is to Shoe Factory Road?
That would be done with our Shoe Factory and Beverly Road project. That's a separate one. So this is complementary to that in terms of the bike path connection linking south when the Beverly Shoe Factory Road work that we're planning with the county gets done. But the resurfacing limits are just as shown here. South of the tollway entrance ramp is a reconstruction of Beverly and a widening. And again, that's a part of the Shoe Factory project.
So they would resurface it and then in a year or two or whatever, then to widen it, so they'd be tearing all that up again?
No, those are two separate sections. So the resurfacing only goes from the tollway entrance ramp,
yes,
Beacon Point Drive, north across the tollway. That's resurfacing.
Oh.
The reconstruction widening piece is from Beacon Point south to Shoe Factory.
In other words, the other section is, there's no plans to widen it. It's only going to be widened up to the tollway.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all. Thank you.
The second option that we looked at, and this actually was submitted last year but not selected, is the idea of implementing a part of the bike plan that had looked at building a off-street path within the Huntington Boulevard right-of-way between Gulf and Higgins Road, and also widening the sidewalk on Higgins from Huntington over to Volad to connect to the existing bike lanes on Volad. While this is still a good project, it does require some additional coordination, input from the neighbors, input from the Park District, as there's some challenges as how you'd get through and around the Park District lot. There's coordination with the BPAC committee and so forth. So there's a fair amount of legwork to do on this before we would decide to proceed. But it was in the bike plan. The few comments that we had on it when we had the open house meetings for the bike plan was, as long as it's not a road, people were okay with it. That was 10 years ago. Attitudes change, and perceptions change. So again, there's a fair amount of work that we'd want to do before proceeding any further with that. The next one is really a very ambitious program. We've talked about this before in this group and with the Transit Improvement Task Force. As we all know, the village is represented by a number of different townships. All have great transportation programs. The rules and operating hours and costs all vary significantly from one to the next. And there's not the ability to connect across townships now, let alone connect across communities. So the idea with this would be to look at a large sub-regional project, partnering with our surrounding neighbors to try to look to ways to improve coordination of existing services, and then overlay those services with some form of transit option that crosses all those jurisdictional boundaries. The county is developing a regional, or I should say countywide transit plan this year. And we feel that this idea of a concept of creating a pilot program to look at what's out there right now, how best to coordinate those services so people can travel from community to community and area to area would be best or better served through the transit plan being developed by the county. It's a large effort. It's going to require a lot of coordination with a number of agencies and people. And again, we still think it's a good idea. It's one of the kind of the long-term goals of our transit plan that was developed a couple years ago, but probably too big for the scope of what's looked at with Invest in Cook. But again, still, we think a very worthwhile project. And the next one is looking at kiss and ride and park and ride improvements. This would be looking at things like adding additional bicycle parking, sheltered facilities perhaps, or additional racks, as well as improving access and connections to the transit, looking at additional sidewalks, maybe some pedestrian level lighting, wayfinding signing, accommodations on Pembroke for pullouts of vehicles stopping at the Kiss and Ride, which is on the south side of the tollway. Again, this is a good idea. It's just a little bit ahead of its time. The Kiss and Ride, Park and Ride are expected to open up this year. So our thought would be to wait, give it a year or two, see how things unfold, and determine the priorities of the pieces of this concept and decide how to proceed from there. And then the last one is a project, as you know, we partnered with Cook County Highway last year to incorporate the Phase 1 design of a bike path on Central Road to connect the Park and Ride lot on the west to the Forest Preserve system on the east. A portion of that path off-street on the north side of the Central Road right-of-way was built by Connor McShane with the Trump project. That's shown in the blue on the illustration here. But the yellow pieces connecting on either end still have to be done. The Phase 1 work that we're doing with the county is moving slowly. I can't really tell you what the completion date for that will be, and therefore it makes it a little bit tough to submit an application for the next phase of engineering when we don't know when the current one's going to be finished. Plus, as there is some development interest along this corridor, we could look at working with the developer to have pieces, the western part built, for example, from Claire's to the AT&T Center Drive with the development. So both the scope and the timing aren't really where they need to be to pursue a next phase of engineering with this at this point. So what we would suggest is that, again, if there's interest in pursuing this, to work on it, submit an application for the Beverly Road projects, which again address both infrastructure need as well as the alternative mode of transportation. The county expects to review all applications which are due in March 16th, review them over the summer, and develop a final recommended list late summer. That would lead to an intergovernmental agreement that would lay out the particulars of how that work was going to be done. So these would be 2019 funds that we'd be looking at as part of next year's budget. We're estimating the Phase 1 cost for this would be about $75,000. We request 80% from Invest in Cook, which is the typical for federal level projects. So our cost would be about $15,000. So I'd be happy to answer any questions. I know that was a quick overview.
Given, now, there would not be any cost to us to do this except the staff time to put together the proposal.
Correct. There's no cost
At this point. Yeah.
Right.
So, and we would not be committing to anything at this point in time until we saw how the project, and given they're only going to have 8 million in this one, it's kind of a long shot, but it's always worth a try.
It is a long shot. I think just given the number, the volume and the amount of funds requested last year, and with the additional publicity of having 1 year of the program already underway, it's going to be very popular. And so it is, I think, a long shot, but we like to try to take advantage of these opportunities when they come along.
Any questions up here? Anybody want to make a motion on this?
I'll make a motion to recommend approval to submit an application for the Invest in Cook grant program for the Beverly Road project.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any other discussion on this? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Again, thank you for your work and time on this.
Thank you for your support. Thanks.
That was the only thing on our agenda this evening. I will mention that we do have an item in review yet for a future meeting. So just so that's on the record, we feel that we will be working on that for the next meeting.
All day long.
Thank you. Okay. At this point, I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. We are adjourned. Thank you very much.